Hi, this is Firumi and she's my miniature dress form. I want to start using this dress form for most of my tutorials, all my upcoming tutorials, and I need her to look more African, more curvy. So I'm going to be doing boobs. I'm going to pad her boobs, I'm going to pad her hip, I'm going to pad her bum, so we have like more definition on the body and it looks more African. What else? I'm going to be changing her skin. She's going to go from this off-white look to a black look. So I'm going to take you through the process of creating a new skin / a new cover for your dress form. I'm also going to take you through the process of creating bust padding for your clients and hip padding and bum padding for your clients. So don't miss any part of this video. And yes, welcome. It's been forever since I posted on YouTube. I'm back and I'm for real this time. So please, if you're new here, subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. I could do a video kneeling down to beg you to subscribe if it's needed. Please subscribe and please watch the video all the way to the end. Trust me, you don't want to miss anything. Let's start. For the skin, I'm using a two-way stretch spandex based fabric, and I'm going to be working with it on the wrong side so that as I drape on the dress form, I'm able to just take it off and sew along the dart lines that I'll be creating. You will notice that I'm pinning along the border of the dress form. So your dress form has like a seam line on the sides, so just follow that seam line and pin so that you can get the silhouette of your dress form. That is what I'm doing. Then you take out the excess in the center. I use it to create two darts, as you can see in the one I just did. Pin along the seam lines until it has a perfect fit. It's hugging your dress form perfectly, and then you can begin to cut along the seam line. When it comes to the length, I'll suggest you make it longer than I did here. You'll understand when we get to the end of the video, because you're supposed to have an elastic band at the bottom. The more excess you have at the bottom, the more you'll be able to get it to come together at the bottom of the mannequin. You see what I mean in a bit. But basically, you're cutting along the seam line, as you can see me do. I added allowance to the seam line here, but there is actually no need to do that if your fabric is stretchy enough. So you don't really need much allowance on the sides when you're cutting out your fabric. To ensure that it hugs your dress form properly, pin your darts all the way to the end, just like it will look when you actually sew the darts. You see that all the excesses have been taken out in the dart. And because I placed the fabric on the wrong side, all I need to do is take this off and just follow the lines that have been created with the pins. Once you're done, take off the pins that are on the seam lines, not the darts, and then begin working on the back of the dress form. Now on the back of the dress form, we're going to repeat the same thing. Place the fabric on the wrong side, pin along the seam lines, and then take out the excesses in form of darts. Cut along the seam lines and then take it off to be sewn to the front part. Go ahead and sew the darts, join the sides together, and then attach a turtleneck to what you've created, and this is what you will get. If you create yours and it's loose, go ahead and rerun the seam lines again. This is what I meant when I said you should add extra length to the bottom of your fabric when you're draping on the dress form. If I had added extra length, the elastic band would have held all the way to that hole you can see there, and it will look more realistic. So please add extra when you're doing yours. So we have Firumi, our dress form. I'm going to take measurements of her. I'll need this ruler, I'll need a marker, and old scissors, because we're going to be cutting a lot of foam, tape, obviously, and the foam. Now for this foam, you can get it if you have a carpenter friend, or maybe friends with one. Ask them to show you where they get their foam from. Or if you stumbled across where they sell foams for carpentry, you'll get foams like this. They come in different sizes. This is the one that they call 1 inch, though it's not actually 1 inch, but it's called 1 inch foam. You have the one of 2 inches, just like that, Sha. I got this one actually from a tailoring store because I couldn't get the one I usually get. So it was close by. So she has them cut up in pieces and she sewed the full, like, I don't know if you know how, what they call breast pad, which is actually a thick interfacing. If you know how the size looks like, imagine that in a foam. That's what she sold for me for I think, yes, 2,200. So that's what I've used part of it already. That's what I'm using for this. Putting it aside first, because what we're going to start with now is the measurements. So I'm going to measure hip length, hip circle, the point I want the hip padding to stop, the length, and I will list everything on the screen, all the measurements you need to take to do your hip padding, because that's what we're starting with. Okay, so hip length, if you go by what we have here, the hip length is supposed to be somewhere here as at 3 inches, but I want it to come down to about 4 inches. So I'm going to use 4. The bum length, obviously there's no bum here. I'm going to leave the bum at 3. Am I within the screen? I'm not. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's do this again. So hip length, based on what we have here, hip length should be at about 3, but I'm going to go for 4 inches. And then for this side, I'm going to go for 3. There's no bum, so I'm going to do it at 3, and then the hip line is going to be at 4. Then we're going to take the hip circle. Hip circle is 18. That's what's here. Okay, so time to get to work. Now we're going to get our foam. You can decide to mark out your hip padding pattern on paper first and then place the paper on your foam and cut, but I'm going to just go directly to the foam because I'm out of paper right now. So yeah, we need those lines. We need a center line first of all, so I'm going to do that. I really hope this space will be enough. Center line. Yeah, doing the full thing. This is going to be both hip and butt padding together. So center line first. Then we're going to mark out. Let's mark out our beginning point first. And our beginning point, we're going to get it by measuring how long we want the hip padding to be. Sorry, I didn't measure that earlier. So from here to, I want the hip padding to get to the to get to the 7-inch point. I hope this is on within the frame. Yeah, so I want it to get to the 7-inch point. This is where the hip padding is going to stop. So I'm going to be measuring 7 inches here. So from the waist to where I want that to stop, it's 7 inches. And then I'm going to mark out our bum line. Bum line is at 3 inches. Hip line is at 4 inches. I'm going to run lines on those places. Waist, bum line, hip line, bottom of the padding. Waist, bum line, hip line, and then bottom of the padding. Okay, make sure that this is perpendicular to your line. Doing the same thing with this one. I'm using a marker because that's what will show up on the foam. A pen will not show, chalk will not show. Okay, now we're going to divide the hip circle by 8. Our hip circle is 18. If you divide 18 by 8, let me show you a quick way I do it if I don't have access to a calculator, which I don't right now. So this is 18. If you fold it into 2, you divide it into 2 parts, and that will give us 9. If you fold it again, it means you divide it into 4, and that will give us 4.5. Fold it again, it means you divide it into 8, and that will give us 2 1/4. So I'm going to mark that on each side. 2 1/4, 2 1/4. So we have our base. Now when you're doing your hip padding, you don't want it to start exactly at the waist. It looks kind of weird. It's better it just flows in. So I usually go 1 inch or 2 inches below the person's waist, but since this is a miniature dress form, I'm going to go 1/2 inch below the waist. So we're starting from here. And now we're supposed to connect a curve from here to the hip point and down here. Same thing this way. So I'm going to do that quickly now. This is what we have. Now by doing this, we already have our hip pad. If you cut this out now and carve it with your scissors, you have hip padding already. That's for someone who wants just hip padding, no bum padding. But we want to do both hip and butt padding for Firumi. So the next thing we are going to do now is create our circle. If you watched the Instagram tutorial, you will notice that when you are doing both the hip and the bum padding, you're going to get to a point where you draw a circle that you connect to your hip padding. So that's the next thing we are doing now. Okay, so next we are going to create a circle. Using the hip circle divided by 4 as your radius. Now you may notice that this is falling outside of the line I drew, because in the, I think I'll look for it and post. In the diagram I posted, the one on Instagram, you will notice that the circle is within this point. That will not always be the case. It doesn't mean you change your measurement. You still have to use it. So I'm not going to do the rest of the circle because I don't really need that side. I'm just going to work on only this side. If yours falls within the line you created, perfect. If it falls outside of it, perfect. The important thing is you are using the actual measurement, which is hip divided by 4. And that's what I just used to mark it. You can see how I marked it. From the center point here, that's your bum line. If you don't have a bum line, if you're using only the hip line for everything, that's fine too. You can use that as your center point. So you just mark all the way as if you are doing a flare, and then you have half a circle. You can run the full circle if you want, but I just need this part. So I'm going to connect this point with a curve here, and then I'm going to take it towards here. What this does, it gives you an idea of where your bum padding should stop. Notice that I am curving it downwards towards the bum line. This is the bum line, and then from the bum line I start coming this way. So this is the shape we have. If yours is longer, it will have a slightly different shape. If the measurement falls within here, it will have a slightly different shape. But what's important is follow the calculations and the measurements that are in this video. Please, what's important is that you follow it. It does not have to look exactly like mine. So this is basically what we have, and I'm going to trim it out now. This is what we have. I'm going to repeat again. Follow your measurements. Don't be concerned with your shape looking exactly like mine. Human beings are shaped differently. Part of the reason why this method will work and your customers will like it is because it's going to mimic their natural body shape. So it's important that you use their own measurements. Bum line, hip line, the distance, and the hip divided by 4, hip circle divided by 4. Make sure you follow. It doesn't have to be the same shape. We don't all look alike. We don't all have the same body shape. Even 2 people can have the same measurements but have different body shapes. So please and please follow your client's measurements. So what I'm going to do now is cut another one like this for the other side. Okay, pa. I'm going to place this on and then cut and down. Notice that I want to use this side as the top part, and the foam is folded. It's been folded, so it has a curve. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the side that is curved out. Are you seeing? This is the side that's curved in. This side is curved out. So this side that will be outside on the person's body. This side that's curved in is going to be the part that will touch the mannequin or the person's body, so the person's body will be. So I need the two to be on opposite sides. So I'm going to cut it that way. I'm placing it like this, and I'm going to cut. So this is what we have now. I'm going to carve this now into an actual bum, but for me to be guided on how to carve it, I'm going to mark something out now. Now remember where the hip point is. This is where the bum point is, and this is where the hip point is. So remember where the hip point is, mark it. You can just press it in and then mark it on the other side. And then where we have the bum point, this way, press it. No, sorry, not here. At this point, divide it into 2. That is on the bum line between here and the end of the circle. You're going to divide it into 2, hold it, and mark it on the other side. We're going to do the same thing here. And here. So basically we have this and this. Now I'm going to do everything I'm going to do now is going to be around these 2 points. So I'm going to carve towards this point. You will see what I mean by carving a bit. Everything I'm going to do is going to come. So this is like our peak, the highest point of the hip pad and bust pad. Sorry, the highest point of the hip and butt pad or bum pad. So that's where everything's going to build up to. Now let me show you what I mean. You're going to take your scissors. Let me start with one side. Let me start with this one, and I'm going to carve upwards. First I'm taking out these edges. You don't need the edges. I'm going to take them all out and make this place really, really thin. This place should be very thin, almost flat. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to build up towards, I'm going to do another layer of cotton again, so that this place is the highest point. I think we have something reasonably cool now. Okay, so we've done the second side. This is what we have. I'm going to show you how we'll be attaching this to the dress form. There will be times when I will need to take it off. So I'm going to quickly pin it down now on both sides. This is what for me looks like now. Now we're going to go ahead and do the boobs. And to be able to get this correctly, you just need two measurements. We need the bust height, shoulder to nipple. We have about 5, and then the under bust height, which is 6.5. So 5 minus 6.5 will give us 1.5, and that's going to give us our bust circle radius. So that's what I'm going to use now. Okay, so I'm back with the foam again. I'm going to pick a middle point, and then we're going to mark 1.5 all around it to create a circle. I'm going to cut the circle. Remember what I said about the part the curve of the foam is facing. So it's facing like this, meaning that this is the part that's going to face outside, and this part is going to be on the person's body. So I'm going to cut this circle, cut another one, and then we're going to shape it into a cup. Now, let me turn it this way. This is our center. We're going to divide this distance again, and we are taking this off. And this is what we have now. So we're going to carve now. Remember, part going inside is the one that will touch the body. So this is what we have. We need to carve the top part, making here the edges as thin as possible. One side, we need to go ahead and do this one. Okay, so this is all we have now. I've done the two of them, and now I'm going to attach it to the dress form. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's all done. You can attach the bust padding to your bust pad and the hip padding to the lining of the dress or to a short knicker, whichever is your choice. Now we're going to go ahead and give her new skin. Take off the bust pad first before you put on the new cover/skin for your dress form. The elastic band you attach to the bottom of your cover is what will make it easy for you to pull the cover all the way from the top of the dress form to the bottom. When you pull the cover halfway, you can go ahead and put in the bust padding according to where the bust is. Once that is done, you can now go ahead and pull down the rest of the cover all the way to the bottom of your dress form, carefully so that you do not displace the hip and butt pad. Can you see how realistic the hip and the bum look? The exact same process applies when you are working on bum and hip padding for your client. Same for the bust padding as well. If you have more questions or you would like to see how this can be attached to a short knicker or to a dress, or you want to see how the bust padding can be attached to your bust cup, then join the exclusive community. It's on Telegram, and there you can send designs you're having issues with and have me do a custom tutorial for you. You will also have access to all our classes from foundation to advanced that are pinned on the Telegram group. For 10,000 Naira, you will have lifetime access to this exclusive community. The link to join the community will be pasted in the caption below.